Recording has begun.
Oh, sorry, guys. Okay, so I just wanted to welcome everyone quickly. We're going to start at 2:05. Just to sort of give a shout out to our WhatsApp chat group. For those of you who are first time joining us and have not been with us before, we use the WhatsApp chat to sort of distribute the slides for our webinars through that, and also to sort of let everyone know what the next event is coming up. So I do encourage everyone to sort of scan in the QR code or to go to the online chat itself. Yeah. Um, the Trina itself would have posted the WhatsApp chat link onto the site. And if you can click on there, click on the link there. Okay. Today we are expecting a slightly smaller group, so we should see about 60 or 70 packs for the event. Oh, Johan, you're here. Hey, Johan.
Yes, I am. How are you?
Oh, good. Okay, so we are about to start. Since okay, everyone, we've got 47. Yeah, maybe we should start shortly already. Okay, so I will begin first by sharing my screen. So, warm welcome to everyone to our webinar series. This webinar is sort of organized by Brands for Good and the ASEAN CSR Network, which is running a membership program called the ASEAN Responsible and Inclusive Business Alliance. We started this webinar series called Emerge Stronger slightly when Circuit Breaker was implemented. And this is like our ninth webinar series, and we're quite happy and proud that we've had such a strong response from everyone. As you can see, we're not unlike other webinars where it is a one-way conversation. We actually have chosen the route of having large meeting formats, and as you can see, most of our windows are open. So what we try to do and try to facilitate with our own webinars is networkings. And one of those things that's going to happen later after today, after the talk today by Yoann, is networkings in breakout rooms. So Zoom has a facility and a feature that allows us to break out into smaller groups. So this is to facilitate some of us to meet each other and then get to know make some new friends today, right? A quick shout out to those of you who have not been with us before. We have a WhatsApp chat group. Do join us. You can either click on the link in the chat bot or scan the QR code here. This is where we sort of used to circulate the slides from our speakers, as well as today's call for action slides as well, so that you sort of know who we are and get to know. So I'll do a little bit of a shout out for Ariba. Ariba is the ASEAN Responsible Inclusive Business Alliance. It is actually organized by the ASEAN CSR Network. It's at www.asean-csr-network.org. It's quite a long URL. Again, you don't have to copy this. If you are on the WhatsApp chat, we will send the link to you. I do encourage everyone to sort of read about it. And if you want to join, do join us. We've got now chapter members in Indonesia, chapter members in Malaysia, Singapore, and we're looking to actually grow, and Philippines as well. I'm hoping to grow the membership across the region and to sort of facilitate networkings across that. Right, and of course, the other organizing body is Brands for Good. I won't go too much about it. Ellen later on will be sharing a little bit more about it. Brands for Good could not have been done without our partners and sponsors. And of course, most important would be the people that actually help support Brands for Good and really pay for all these webinars that you have today. So that would be Maybank and 01. And then so later on, we'll have a quick chance to have a word from our sponsors. Right. Alan, of course, is also our co-chair for Brands for Good. Our other co-chair is Esther Wee, which you have not really been seeing, and she will sort of join us soon to help organize and share a little bit about Brands for Good itself. And that's a little bit about Alan. So 3 things I wanted to share. Again, a call for action for Ariba. I do hope that every one of you who find what we're trying to do meaningful, and then if you believe in sort of the mission for an inclusive and responsible growth across the region, I do encourage everyone to sort of join the membership. I also want to sort of do a shout out for our Brands for Good Carbon Care label. For those of you who do not unfamiliar with doing your carbon footprint or accounting your carbon footprint, this is one way to go about doing it. You can actually go and join our Carbon Care program, where we get businesses to start calculating their carbon impact. Estella Ho from Carbon Care Asia should be able to support you on this, and that's her contact details as well. Of course, last but not least is Brands for Good nominations, and it's currently now open. So for those of you who are keen to be part of the awards and the showcase for Brands for Good, please do join us. Right? Okay, so without further ado, I will now pass the mic sort of to our sponsors so that they can sort of share their koyo a little bit, to tell you a little bit what they do, and give them some time to share. So Jeff, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Glenn. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeff. I'm from Maybank. So Maybank and Brands for Good, we have been in collaboration for the past 3 years. So personally, for me, I the honor to participate in this movement for 2 years in a row. So personally, to me, I think Brands for Good has very much in sync with Maybank's mission of in humanizing financial services. So maybe just let me introduce Maybank briefly. Allow me to share screen first. Okay, so Maybank, as everybody knows, is tend to relate to a Malaysian bank. Actually, in fact, Maybank has existed in Singapore for the past 60 years. So, in fact, in this year, we are celebrating our 60 years anniversary. And in a Singapore context, Maybank Singapore has been locally incorporated into Maybank Singapore Limited as we know it today. So we are one of the qualifying full banks, meaning to say we can actually operate a full range of banking services. And we're also one of the 7 systematically important banks in Singapore. So as a group, Maybank has presence in all ASEAN countries. So while Singapore is actually the largest overseas market that the Maybank group has outside of Malaysia. So in terms of asset, as of 2019, Maybank's Singapore asset stands at 76 billion Sing dollar. And in terms of reach point, we are island-wide. We have an island-wide network of 27 service locations as well as 2,000 employees. Okay, so in terms of the product wise, of course, we have many different segments because today's the seminar is about the businesses. It involves business owners. So today I will just talk about the solutions that we have to support our local business. Okay, so in terms of working capital, we have 2 solutions over here in collaboration with EFS. Okay, ESG, sorry. So we have enhanced working capital loan as well as temporary bridging loan. That's the 2 on the left. So the difference is enhanced working capital loan has up to 1 million financing, while temporary bridging loan is up to 5 million. So in total, the financing possibility is up to $6 million Sing dollar. Okay, so in terms of feature-wise, both loans are non-collateral, meaning to say there's no need to furnish any assets as a security. And in terms of the loan tenure, you can financing up to 5 years. And for the first year, we actually allow deferment of principal repayment, meaning to say during the first 2 years, there's only interest servicing, which lessen a lot of burdens from the business owner at this point in time during COVID season. And if your business is into trading, meaning to say you import, export, and whatnot, the EFS trade loan and loan insurance scheme will be for you, whereby this will help you to finance your payment gap. And of course, we do have financing of property. So in the business context, usually there will be in commercial and industrial property financing. So in terms of the commercial industrial property financing, we can finance up to 90%, of course, with a very, very competitive rates. Okay, so for existing commercial industrial property customers, we actually also offered deferment of installment, meaning to say you defer totally the principal as well as the interest, so until the end of the year. So that is actually a good relief in terms of this time. Okay, so of course, being a a banking group with a headquarter in Malaysia, we have a close collaboration with Malaysia also. So if you have any needs in terms of your business needs in collaboration in your Malaysia partners, then we are here to help. We can provide competitive FX, forex rates and whatnot. So do talk to us. So without further ado, I'll pass the mic back to 01. Stuart, over to you.
Hi, thank Jeff. Thank Jeff. Hi everyone, afternoon. So today I will share 2 things. So before I start my slide, I just share one picture I took 25 years ago. So that actually started my journey as a tech startup company.
Stuart, I like your color code today.
Is it? Thanks. Okay, so allow me. So I think I speak almost every week. So today I think I wanted to pull out a picture. I don't know whether you see this picture. Yeah. So this was taken about 25 years ago. I was a design engineer, RF engineer. So it was taken in France. So this was the first GSM phone held by the lady with antenna, no color screen, black and white with some number pads. So that was 25 years ago. I was in a tech startup, created a mobile phone in Singapore. Actually, it was in Singapore. So even before Samsung. So that started my career, and fast forward 25 years from now, another company I started about 3 years ago, 2017. So we created a company called 01. So basically, to do a quick introduction of 01, basically, I mean, all you guys have a mobile phone and SIM card. Just throw your SIM card, whether it's on M1 Star, Singtel, just throw it away and use 01. So that's what we are today. We are a mobile operator. Okay, we went live after a year of planning. We went live in 1/8. So basically, March 2018, we launched. So when we went out to the market, we asked ourselves what we want to solve. Basically, we thought that everyone needed data, but I think the three big boys are not giving data at a good rate. So we thought that, yeah, let's do unlimited data at $9.90. So that started so-called our live service in March 2018. So today, when we started at the time, we had a 5th operator. Today, I think early year, we have 17. So 3 actually went out. So we left about 14 right now. So that's how crowded the market is today. And I think we came in with a mandate, which later I'll share a bit more. So for the past 2 years, what we want to do is basically disrupt and reorganize the telco scene in Singapore, allow everyone to have unlimited data at an affordable rate, which is our 990 is doing well today. So thing 01 is important. We are in the digital operator right now. 2 simple plan. We started with our one to you, which we used to give 1 gig of data to unlimited. Currently, we offer 4 gig at the price of $9.90. About 2 months ago, we did another plan, which also an unlimited plan at a 30 GB to unlimited at $24.90. So simple plan, 2 plan. I think it's more importantly is these 2 plan actually fit the daily needs of everyone. You know, it could be from the young to the old, the middle group of people as well. Anyone who need a data, unlimited data, I think you should look at 01. On top of that, during COVID time, we actually announced that we are going to give additional 3 GB free for the next 6 months. So whether you're a new user or the current user, you will be given additional 3 GB, whatever plan you have today. Okay, so we want to reimagine and disrupt the mobile world. I think we are not here to subject to the current status by the bigger boys or whoever in the market. We are here to create something that's meaningful and there's a purpose to what we are doing. Okay, some of the use case today, we have about, after 2 years, we have about 70,000 registered customers. Some of the use case, people use it like today, virtual meeting. We have logistic company from America. We got a big chunk of people use it as security. They clock up to 300 gig per month. We have people use it as retail as well. Then, for the past 2 months, people are working from home. Some of them are using mobile if they don't have a broadband service at home. And the three little thing I always say that say goodbye to Wi-Fi. Don't bother to hunt for your Wi-Fi. I think just use 01 because we are unlimited. Basically usable speed after your bundle. And more importantly is at affordable rate at $9.90. Basically you can have unlimited data almost every time. You know. So how can we help? Productivity, connectivity, reducing your costs, and obviously don't bother about whether the plan will burst or you got to pay additional. So whatever you pay us, that's it for the month, and you get away with unlimited data. Some people in the market is shouting pretty much similar to us, but I think not all unlimited data is equal. So give you a use case, it's a bill that we pull up from our customers. They pay us about $24.90. After a month, they clock almost 296.46 GB, and they are still paying us for $24.90. So what we are saying that being unlimited, it must be usable. And today, 01 is offering a service that it is usable. So during this period, this session, anyone who sign up, we are actually throwing out a corporate trial. So you can enjoy 30 days free. Use it if you like. continue. You don't like, just return us. There's no contract. So basically, just get hold of a guy or drop out an email so we can give you a SIM card to a free trial. You can contact me. I'm the CEO and founder. The email and mobile phone is there. Or if Lynn, our marketing folks, which is part of this session as well. So take a snapshot, take a picture. These are the two important email or mobile phone if you want to get in touch with 01. Okay, the last two slides basically talk about what we are doing moving forward. The next 6 months, we actually will be launching up some services that will differentiate us from a traditional telco. So we don't want to be a common telco. We believe that we are not able to compete. So do look out for us. We are going to announce a few interesting services moving forward. And my invitation to everyone that's listening, be part of a high growth tech company. We are a startup and we believe in disrupting and creating services that make sense for all users in the market, whether you are a consumer or enterprise. Okay, thank you. I give back to the host, maybe it's Glenn.
Yes, thanks, Stuart. Okay, so without further ado, I want to sort of pass on the next slide to Alan. But before we pass it on to Alan, I want to say hi to Esther. Esther, are you there? I saw a message saying that you're here. That's our other co-chair. She's been MIA for like a few weeks already. Esther, can you turn on your mic? Are you there? Oh, camera? I guess not. Esther. Okay. Alan, over to you.
Hey, hello everybody. Let me do a screen share. Okay, this is the one, correct. Share. Okay, let me take 5 minutes. I think those of you who have heard me present before, please bear with me. But for those who are hearing this for the first time, we do this as part of our, Brands for Good community. We hope to, of course, enlarge our tribe, and really hope that y'all can, if y'all identify with what I'm sharing, and if this is the vision that sort of resonate with you, we hope that you can come and be part of us. Okay, so let me very quickly run through what Brands for Good is all about. Okay, so we are basically a group of course, many of our nominees, winners, are actually social enterprises as well, right? So we are always championing and fighting a business case for doing good, right? That doing good is not a cost, but it can be a strategic a profit center as well, or your profit enabler. Okay, actually this is a video, but I think I'll skip. Whoops. Okay, let me go to the next slide. So, okay, so this now Brands for Good was Brands for Good was started 2 years ago in 2017, right? So we we had our first event in 2017, right? So our mandate, or rather, as a non-profit organization, right, we champion the cause to inspire every business, all right, to become a purposeful brand. And in 2017, we tie up with ASEAN CSR Network to build this into an ASEAN-wide community, all right? And we hope every year to do a celebrative event, right? But of course, in the wake of COVID, we can't do it physically now. So we hope to do one at the end of the year, probably do a virtual conference. So, all right, Glenn has gone through these. These are the partners that we work together. When we started, we are fortunate also through IIPCC, one of the organizers as well, to have Prof. Su, who is the President Emeritus of NTU, right? And he, one day, when we were having him giving away the award, he sort of whispered to me and say, hey, that, Brands for Good, he said, if we do well, really it has the opportunity to change the world. So I think we were also very encouraged by his remarks. So these are the judges, all right? When you submit your nomination to us, the guys who are doing marketing, the guys who are handling the business, we don't get involved in the judging process. So we have, our volunteer judges, and many of them actually are from, they represent various institutions, right? And many years of experience in handling, the subject matter, right? So we have them to help us, look at all your nominations. Okay, let me go through the 2018-2019 slides. Okay, this is the 2019 video. Okay, let's try lah. Can you all hear?
Cannot hear.
Cannot hear?
Yeah, cannot
Okay,
hear.
never mind. So this is the coffee table booklet that we did for 2019-2018. Actually, the videos are all up on the YouTube, all right? So feel free to have a look at it. And then we also created a LinkedIn. Hope you all can follow us. All right, so this is the, so in short, Brands for Good, we try to do three things, right? We want to help our businesses differentiate, because I think in our community, we have many IP experts, right? Including brand strategies. We want to build a community, and in our events, our once a year event, we hope to inspire, right? Inspire the next leaders, right? So in 2020, our plans, actually we were planning to do this in July, right? Until COVID hit. So our partner for Invention Convention has decided to shift it to 2021. But so 2020 in December, we will run with ASEAN CSR to run a conference. All right, so the conference will tie up with NUS to look at technology for good, right? So NUS has done quite a bit of research in this area. So we will do some presentation, or they will share some of their findings, right? And then in 2021, we will work with Invention Convention. The first time they are doing this, the first global event outside US, and they've picked us as their partner, and we'll be running it in Singapore. All right, and Temasek Poly has already sponsoring one of the key sponsors for this. And for ourselves, and of course, together with the ASEAN CSR, we hope to still announce our winners for 2020, right, during the ASEAN CSR conference. So this year we have 5 areas of, we're looking into 5 categories, right? Business, leadership, capital, design, and technology. Okay, so I will not go too deep into this, right? But if you are keen, you can always drop us an email, or you can also go to our website, and they are all self-explanatory. Okay, so the nomination requirements are quite simple, right? So you have to be, of course, a Singapore company, right? We are trying to promote brands for good. So of course, we hope that you have you believe in your brand name. You want to build a brand name, all right? And then in the area of technology, we also tie in with this thing called the patents for good, all right? So please reach out to Frances. I think she's with us here as well. So she can guide you along in the nomination process, all right? So this is our timeline. We are all gearing up towards December 10th for our ASEAN CSR conference. And there also we will announce the winner, all right? And we will also, like the last 2 years, work with Business Times or for the media coverage. So, well, if you are someone who keen to pursue this further, these are a few other resources. We also work with B-Lab, RACE, NVPC, UN Global Compact. In fact, Thomas, the CEO of ASEAN CSR Network, whom we are working very closely now, used to be the founder of the UN Global Compact in Singapore. Right? So here we are. Do join us. Okay, this is the WhatsApp group chat where we post our updates. I hope you can join us in this group group chat. Okay. Now, there are 8 things we like to tell people what we offer, all right? We work with many trainers to, we also want to educate, right? In a wake of what's happening now, I think there are a lot of new skills we have to relearn, right? So we tie up with many training institutions together with their benefits, right? Their Skill Future grant and all that, so that you gain access to new knowledge or new expertise as low a cost as possible, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, to redefine your business. We also tie up with many partners, like from the financial angle would be Maybank, right? Funding Society. Then we also work with many other consultants, right? Government agencies, all that, to help you, redesign your business to make it more competitive, more relevant, right? In our network, like in ASEAN CSR network, right, we want to be able to help you to reach out to new markets, open doors for you, right? And so the network is one side, then going into the market, right? As a as a group or as a, as an interest group, right? We can all band together and pursue common interests. Then also, there are various aspects of interest group, right? Some, we have some group that are very focused in water issues, some in education issues, right? So we pair them up together, and they can create impact directly, right? All right. So we also got have training bursary that we can offer those of you who join us. We also tie up with technology partners to, to use technology to help you scale or transform your business, all right? And as a sponsor, we want to let brands, we see Brands for Good as a platform where you can launch your brand, right, to gain greater prominence, both on our online, our digital platform as well as our non-digital platform, right? So these are the, people always ask, right, what do you get if you join us? So these are briefly, I think the 8 areas that we can. That I like to share. So that's all my sharing. I hope to that y'all will join us, nominate yourself. Where is it? The nomination.
Come on, do it.
Sorry. Yeah, because Glenn, you updated the slide, so I get it all confused. Yeah, okay, never mind. They're here.
Am I sharing?
Okay, over to you. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Okay, guys. Just to sort of round up what Ellen is sharing. Nominations are online. It's at www.brandsforgood.asia. Again, as Ellen was saying, do join the WhatsApp chat group. You can either click on the link on the chat box by Trina, who should send it, or scan the QR code now online. If not, the link is there. I also wanted to sort of do a quick shout out for next week's Emerge Stronger, which we have the privilege of having Professor Lim Song Guan. For those of you who do not know Prof. Lim, he is the ex-head of civil service and wrote 2 books, Can Singapore Fail and Winning with Honor. He currently has an organization called Honor Singapore, which I think one of our friends here, Vincent, is also part of. And he is someone that I'm a big fan of. So for those of you who have not signed up for next week's event, do join us. Go online. It's again at brandsforgood.asia/emerge stronger for our next webinar. So today, of course, we have the privilege of having Yoann. Yoann is from Dathappy. I hope I pronounced it correctly, Yoann. Dathappy he's a data science and sociology background, and he has decided that as an organization, he was going to be impact driven. And how do you do that? By doing what he does best, by providing a service to impact organizations. So today he's going to share a little bit about how digitalization can help solve problems and using data for it. So no chance to do a round of applause, but so over to you, Yoann. Thank you for being with us today.
Okay, thanks for the introduction. Okay, let me share my screen. Good afternoon, everyone. As a quick update, I'm not in Singapore these days. I was not able to come back because of the virus, so I'm in France right now, but it's okay.
Oh.
It's no sun today, but it's good. So very nice to be with you. And clearly the goal is to just give you some tips, some guidelines on how you can speak better data. Why do we think it's important? We saw that working with different NGOs, nonprofits, social enterprises, B Corps, and even development agencies. We have different ways of leveraging data, but most of the people are not yet ready for that. It's the case for most of the SMEs. It's the case particularly for purpose-driven organizations. So the goal will be really to try to share with you some ideas, some tips, and to demystify a little what it can be. Because sometimes it's slightly difficult to understand what you can do with. There is a lot of vocabulary and few things. So I will go through few elements. Do not hesitate if you have any questions, even during the talk, in a sense. So like this, I can also add it during the discussion if I can, and otherwise we will have the Q&A at the end. So basically, being data-driven is clearly a key pillar of innovation today, and that's you can see that by the revenue that you can extract from it. So when you have data literacy, and I will start with this definition. So what is what is to be data literate as an organization, or even more as an individual? It's when you can read, manipulate, or argue with data. So it's the entry level of understanding data. And just by here, I've shown two numbers. And in a sense, you can already discuss and be curious. Is it USD, Singapore dollar, or even is it really big? That's the kind of questions that you can ask when you are data literate. But one thing that is very important there is really that you have a very good return on investment when you invest on data and technology overall. And we can see that a little later with some projects that have been done before. But the issue is that even if it's really a pillar of innovation, most of the organizations do not know how to embrace our data economy. And as I said, particularly the purpose-driven ones. So that's for us the key element of creating Dathappy, of bringing data science services to purpose-driven organizations at different levels. Why? Because 50% of organizations are lacking already this year of AI and data literacy skills to achieve business value. It's very important to say AI and data literacy. Artificial intelligence, yes, it's a big keyword. It's a high-level technology, but at the same time, you don't have to go directly for that yet. Sometimes you can really start with a basic level of data literacy, building some visualizations, using a little more data-informed decisions. And that will be the key things that we will approach today, in a sense. And why data literacy? Again, it's clearly in an organization. When we talk about organizations that are already existing, not small startups, but a little more SMEs and bigger organizations, that's one of the biggest problems right now. The internal roadblock to the success of implementing a relevant data journey is the data literacy of even the collaborators and the leaders of your organization. That is very important to do that. So that's why now most of the organizations are trying to initiate data literacy programs. But at the same time, you don't know exactly how to do that. So let's deep dive a little more on how you can do that and how could be the journey for you. So when we say data literacy or being data informed, data driven, all these kind of keywords, keep that easy. It's time for you to speak data. And by speaking data, it's just having a common language where you leverage on some informations to take your decisions. So now you can build that with your data literacy culture. That is very important. How do you spread out the skills? How do you make sure that all the decisions that you take in your organization are driven by data? And driven does not mean that you follow just what the data is saying, but you have people that are aware of what the data is, that are aware of the quality that is required to have insights. And you push after on the innovation side at the same time with new data science initiatives to bring, for example, new products and new elements in your program, new prioritization. So we'll deep dive a little more on that. We defined, in a sense, 4 elements that could really help you, and we will go through that. And the first one, I will say it's not so much even the data strategy itself. Yes, it's very important to think about what you will do overall as an organization, but at the same time, starting somewhere and starting small, it's often very most valuable for you. It's really important for you to just start to identify the low-hanging fruit projects and just to share that after it. And it will help you to define your strategy. At the beginning, you don't know yet what it is. So will you hire a consultant to build like your long-term strategy? Maybe yes, maybe no, but I will not recommend you to build that from scratch. Do a first project and after discuss with some consultants that could help you to define a strategy, or hire someone that could be very interesting for you to develop that. But start with a project first. Like this, you really see what it takes and what it is. Talent sourcing in both sides, working with individuals that are already skilled on a project base, or even working with more people that you will like to engage further in your hiring process. You will find a lot of different talents. Sometimes you will see that it's difficult to find the relevant persons, but we will discuss that also a little more on how you can leverage on that for your future. At the same time, focus on the people that you already have in your organizations. That's one of the key assets. You have people that you trust, people that are working with you. So equip them with the skills of the future. So that's the 4 key pillars that we will say that are very important for you if you want to really embrace the data economy and to start by doing things. So starting with the data projects, as I said. Data projects can be very, very complex, very, very difficult, and at the same time, very easy. So do not go for complex projects. Do not invest like in projects that are 1-year project at the beginning. That's not what you want. When you didn't do so much data projects first, you don't know what it is. And even now, you don't know maybe what it is. I'm saying a data project. So that's why you need to start small. That's why you need to explore. So when you do a more discovery project in a month or maximum 2 months, you will bring some insights on a specific use case. And we will see that something that is very important is to ask the relevant business questions. Data science helps you to already be at a level of understanding what you can do and take decisions based on your business questions. But if you have no business questions, for that, you don't need data science. Data is not magical. Data is a tool that is helping you to do things. So start with a small questions where, very small questions where you know that you can, in a sense, collect some data, or you already have some data and you want to see what you can do with that. How it could help you to take informed decisions, how it can help you to extract insights on your community. And it can be very easy as a survey. So in Singapore, for example, we worked with NCSS or Cloudboard to identify and working in partnership with contract consulting on that side. But definitely what you can do there is really more traditional research approach, where you have the quantitative analysis, but at the same time you want to go further on the analysis. So you collect, for example, data on individuals and particularly their experience in volunteering in Singapore. Is volunteering helping to create social leaders in Singapore? That's just the questions that you want to have. And that's something that could be very easy to answer with a discovery project. That is a small scale, easy to go project. Now, once you understand a little more what you can have, go for a project that is a little more complex, a complex project where you will see really the first value of collecting automatically the information, having a dashboard, taking decisions based on that, and including more advanced analytics. So if you can automatically match people or automatically segment your community to understand better who are your customers, you can do that not anymore in a one shot as a discovery project, but more on the ongoing value that you have. And like this, you have something that is usable every day on your decisions, and you see, in a sense, how it's helping you to frame the next steps that you will take. So that's where you have the proof of value. You really test further what it takes to do and the value that it has. So like this, you can spread out the information into your company. That's very important to start with that. And after that, you can go already for tailor-made projects. We have a lot of different options for that. So you can hire the relevant teams, you can work with partners, you can outsource fully, you can mix teams. But that's where you are more advanced. You identify your business needs, and after you work on these projects. And the most important is really, how do you transform your business questions into the relevant technological problems and analytical problems? So that's where having people like this can really help you to build the relevant projects. Just to give you a quick example on how you can start quickly. So we were working with UNDP Accelerator Labs in Sudan. Because just to take a step back, so Dathappy is incorporated in Singapore. So it's a Singaporean company created 2 years ago, a little more. And we operate worldwide. So we have projects in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Southeast Asia overall. We're even developing learning programs in Cambodia recently. And at the same time, we will focus a little more on projects with development agencies in Africa, particularly UNDP, where we have a good partnership there. And one of the key things that they are doing with the Accelerator Labs, their new initiative, is the solutions mapping. And how do you very easily map an ecosystem? How do you understand who is doing what and the impact of the things that are ongoing? You can do that one by one, do a research and so on. Yeah, why not? But if you can collect a little more automatically the information, you can really take at the end better decisions because you will have a snapshot on what is going on. So at the end now they have a dashboard where they can identify what are the let's say that what are the SDGs that are the most tackled in Sudan, what kind of organizations is doing it, the kind of resources that they are using, and the outreach on a sense that they have. So linking their activities to SDGs and even having other metrics that are important for them are key. And like this, they can share that with other stakeholders. So that's really something that is important. We help them to better identify insights in this data, but at the same time to have a tool that is really helping them to have ongoing insights on what are the best development solutions in Sudan. So that's a small example. Now, when you start with having a project like this, we did this project, for example, in 2 months. So you do a project like this, you have nothing yet, but you collect a little more automatically the data, you have a first visualization and ongoing decision process that is now based with this data and this information insights that you generate. Okay, can you go further and can you spread that to, let's say, the full UNDP or at least the full UNDP Accelerator Lab initiative? Yes, and that's really something that you should do. At the point is, yes, you get started with a small project, you have to just to put your first steps there. But now you have also to think a little more strategically. You see a little the value, you understand better how it's going on. So now, how do you build your strategy? I would say that you should build your strategy always looking at the pragmatics, the pragmatic side of it. Go for things that are easy to do. So when you build your strategy, you have two goals. The goal is really to work with the different business units, the ones that are more ready, and that you have the teams that are ready to have projects. And after you map, in a sense, what you can do. So by mapping what you can do, you have different opportunities. You have the business value that is important. So you work on the business needs. So like this, you understand a little more how data can help. Okay. But at the same time, you have to take into account what is the complexity of building things. If you have a project that is very, very difficult, it could bring a lot of value. But at the same time, do you really want to invest in a project that is expensive, complex, where you will see the value only in 1 year? Maybe not yet, because you have maybe to start with the low-hanging fruit, because your data strategy is linked also to the data culture of the company. And as I said, it's very important to bring data literacy. So if you want to have data projects, you need people to trust you on investing in data. So for sure, you have the real top-down approach where you do the first project, but after you have to empower the others. And at this time, that's really important to keep in mind that you want to invest in technology and being more data-driven, but you have to share that with others, because otherwise, as any transformation, you will not embrace data as a company, but more just into small projects. So yes, we'll have touch points where you have, I will say, segmented innovation. But if you want to bring the innovation as a strategy for your organization, communication and empowerment of others is very important. So that's part of the data strategy that you should have. Not going too much into details there. The other part is really, how do you find the talents? So as I said, working with organizations on different ways, outsource fully a project, for example, to start. So you come with your business question and you want to understand how the data project works, just work with an external partner maybe to start. That's an idea. Or if you do that differently, find someone that is a key pillar in your data strategy, someone that is your champion. That's something that's important, and I will come back a little more on that strategy. So finding the relevant persons, finding the relevant talents, and be careful. As any trends, you have a lot of organizations that are around that. You have people selling you solutions. You have people selling you more consulting-based projects. It's difficult for you if you don't have at least few knowledge or few resources in your organization that can discuss with them to understand what is a real value or not. So find trusted partners, and even for employees or external partners as external service providers or internal resources, it's sometimes very difficult to understand what will be the value for your organization. So that's why if you start with a data project, you understand a little more how it's going on, you bring yourself more aware of what is feasible, you build your strategy, and you have the relevant talent sourcing approach, you can really go for it. And the last one, as I said, really in a way, the talents upskilling, the ones that you already have. Never forget it. Our organizations are changing very fast. We saw that with the COVID. People that are not used to digital, so digital dexterity and particularly data literacy are skills very important. You may think that, oh, as an HR, for example, you don't need that. But one day you will receive a file and you will have like your employees' data. And if you are not able to do that by yourself, by just checking a few things, oh, how many are in like their mid-20s, how many are close to retirement? Are they all happy with that? Can I just build like a small visualization? Or can I collect a little more information to understand what plan of maybe training in my organization I can push? So if you have like just this literacy, data literacy, that doesn't mean that you're a data specialist. Again, data literacy is this kind of basic horizontal skill that everyone needs when you work with a computer. When you work with a computer, we have data everywhere. When you work at the strategic level, you are reading graphs, seeing tables, and so on. And if you are not able to compare and take decisions based on that, and decisions that are, in a sense, complete and curious, I will say, and bringing really all the curiosity that you have. Why is it evolving? You maybe saw very recently a lot of posts on LinkedIn, for example, on organizations trying to show their new super good evolution in the recent weeks, and they were just showing like evolutions. So their growth in the, even if it's like selling new products, for example, their growth in the last week compared to the week before. But what they forget is like, if you go very low, and so let's say that you were at 1,000 users all the time, because of the COVID, you go back to 200. Okay, if you look at that, you have like kind of big decrease there. But if tomorrow you go again to 300, you make 50% more. So, so people are showing like, oh yeah, we are doing a 50% growth. Yeah, but overall, compared to 4 months, you are still 700 less. So if you don't have this curiosity and this kind of analytical thinking, that's where you can be misled by the information. And information is all around us. So data is really everywhere, and we have those informations. So if you have people having skills that are not, again, being an expert into the data space, but people being able to work with the technology and the data that is around us, you will gain a lot of productivity, and you will save time, and at the same time you will explore new insights that are very important when you build your data culture. So that's the kind of 4 pillars that we identified based on all the projects that we and I realized. So I've been in the data science space for 10 years. I studied that in France. So I have a bachelor in mathematics, computer science and statistics, and sociology, and a master in data science. I started a PhD in France that I stopped because of different issues with my organizations I was with at this point. But like this, I was able to come in Singapore to work for one of the largest chemical company in France, so a large MNC, 30,000 employees. And you can think that those organizations are already doing all of that. Don't think about that like this, really. I was the first data scientist for this company. And by first data scientist, I really mean the person that is able to talk with business about data stuff and how to help them to innovate. We had statisticians, we had computer scientists, we had people already that we're even building a first layer of data-informed decisions with dashboards, but always on a very technical point of view. So now, how can you work more with the businesses and help them to leverage on new technologies, models, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and not in a technological point of view, but in a business point of view. So it's sure that it has been a big pillar on growth and innovation. To be honest, you look at what happened in the last decade and let's say 20 years back from now, it's absolutely incredible. All our biggest organizations right now are leveraging data properly. And they are doing that at a scale that is not even thinkable. To be honest, when you don't even know the profile that Facebook has on you. Cambridge Analytica in Europe and with all these elections and so on, where was big thing showing a little that to the public. But everything that you do is tracked. When you do a marketing campaign, it's tracked. Everything that on your phone is tracked. So why are they doing it? Not just for the sake of having data. It's not data that is important. It's the intelligence that you extract from it, the wisdom in a sense. And I will go a little more into details on how do you extract more knowledge and wisdom from the data, because data is, in a sense, an instrument, I'd say a tool, a piece of something, but the most important is what you do with that. And all those organizations have been investing a lot on collecting relevant information at scale. So like this, they can already take decisions. And that's why, for example, 10 years ago, Netflix was investing millions on a recommender engine. And that's the kind of things that are really shaping our world today. And it's also something that is driving us to push purpose-driven and smaller businesses to invest in data and technology. If we just let these giants continue like this, okay, they will do better and better products, but at the same time, we are going very in a monopolistic way. And if we don't care about like pushing smaller organizations, purpose-driven ones, to invest in data, we create a gap that is increasing and increasing. So if we want to close the gap, we have to make sure that smaller organizations and purpose-driven organizations are investing into technological, in the technological space, and particularly the data space, as much as the others. So that's why, for example, one of our key mission was, how do we make sure that it's accessible and affordable for those organizations? That was part of the things that we did a lot. So as a summary, clearly, how do you get started? Start more with logging food projects. That's one of the key things. You don't have to go for a very, very complex project. Start with a smaller one. Then hire internally for the key positions. People understanding what to do with some technical skills. They don't have to be the data experts themselves. It could be a data expert that is having at the same time the business acumen, or it could be someone having the business acumen that is at the same time having some data skills. But try to find someone that is helping you to translate your business cases into that, and that is able to follow what is going on. So like this, you know where you go, and having those people internally will help you to build overall the strategy and the culture into the organization. So the culture really is very important. Bring this communication, share your knowledge, share the insights, help people to upskill, and clearly develop this data literacy. That's something that is very important, and do not hesitate to co-create with external partners when necessary. Don't think as your team as a limited team. This time is not existing anymore, that's sure. And in the technological providers, you have so many people that you can trust and really work with them on different arrangements. So go for it and have the good balance between internal and external skills. That will be something that will help you to innovate and at the same time to keep the knowledge internally. That's something that is important. So just to help you to go through, I would say, essential definitions, essential vocabulary, because there is so many things there. So it's important for you also as leaders, as people that are potentially the ones pushing this data strategy and these projects and movements into your organization, to understand a little what it is in a very basic way. And one thing that is very interesting often is like you can find partners that are helping you to democratize that. So at the start, work with organizations, partners that will help you to really understand what is going on in an easy way and in a business way, because you are still a business. Data is a tool that you can invest in as when you go for funding When you go for funding, maybe you don't speak exactly the same language than the bank, but you have to be aligned on what they are looking for and what you are looking for, so that things you can find the best investment opportunity. Here, it's the same. Find people that can help you to really demystify that and work with your business needs and embrace that progressively. So one of the first key things, really data to actions. As I said, data is just data. What you do with is very important. And most of the thing in the data science space, it's really to understand what happened. So in a very descriptive way. You just have, in a sense, the metrics and you do a review of what happened. Okay, now you can go also to the next step. Why did it happen? Trying to be more on the explanation level on these metrics. So when you have, for example, a growth in your activity, why did it happen? Is it the full economy in Singapore that is progressing? Maybe no, maybe yes. Is it linked to my last marketing campaign? Yeah, probably. That's all the kind of questions. So trying to find more the why, and here you are moving more on a diagnostic step. And it's helping you to take decisions always. Now, you can also invest on something that is also more advanced, but at the same time that is helping you to predict a little more what could happen. So predicting, for example, your demand for next month, that could be something interesting. Now, is it preventing you to, I would say, emergencies and things that you cannot prepare? No. COVID, for example, was a good example. You can predict to have that amount of sales for the next quarter, but definitely having an external factor as COVID is impacting a lot of other things. So I would say that you have to use predictive analysis when it's making sense. And at the same time, it's a tool that is really helping you to try to plan better what will happen. So when you work in, for example, in industrial processes, what will happen is something that is very important on the production steps. So you can have really this, okay, when, for example, I will have a failure in my machine, when should I invest in this new machine? That's something that is really used in the predictive maintenance. And instead of just having a round of tests every week on your machine, you can maybe have only when you see that you have something that is going less and less in the quality validation, or that you have some parameters that you identify. So you really easily you reproduce a pattern of what you saw before. Predictive analysis, again, is not magical. It's really you saw something in the past, and by combining the different data that you have, you're able to identify a pattern. So for example, if you take that in the insurance industry, every time that you have a divorce, you know that 3 months after someone will probably review the contract and they will probably stop your contract. So that's the kind of things that you see. And you can do that as a human. In fact, that's how you put your first step and so on. That's how humans learn, by experience and trying to anticipate what will happen. Now with the data, collecting a lot of information and a lot of relevant information, you can also do that at scale. Now, one that is a little more difficult sometimes to reach, the prescriptive. What should I do? That means that you're able to predict something and now you want to optimize. So for example, I want to reach this level of production. How should I tweak my process to go for this level? So it's here you have even 2 layers, and that's where you can close the gap with the robotic in a sense and in the algorithmic side. So taking the automatic decision on that, it's like a automated optimization in a sense, and otherwise you can always use it for better decisions. And you don't take decisions just like this on the data. You always want to act. If you don't take any actions with the data that you have, forget it. I mean, why will you invest in something that you are not using? You need to invest in actions and what you will do. So always keep in mind that the most important thing that you have to do is to act. So that's the 4 steps of data. And in a process of data, what are the steps that you think about that? It's like here I'm presenting that with the 7A rule, and you see again we have the ask and the act, and here we are even going one step before compared to the data to action, because we don't need to acquire and to work with data if we don't have a business question, and it's what I said just before. We need to start with the business requirements. What do you want to do? That's the most important. Start with that. Now, maybe you already have some data. Maybe you don't have yet. You will collect it. After, you have to see how you can agglomerate, consolidate all the information that you have. So that's where you assimilate and you make sure that you have the relevant data management in-house too. Because if you have one person that is calling this product something and this other product something else, how do you know that it's the same product? So working with key elements that you can always recognize, it's very important. And that's where you can really assimilate that. And if you have 3 coffee shops selling the same coffee but with different names, you will not be able to bring that together. So that's something that is important. And that's where after you can analyze, so you play with the data in a sense, and you answer the questions that you have. Now that you have some insights, because you have this answer as an insight that you have into the data, you can advise. And you don't just advise, and if you are always advising someone and they are never listening to you, again, there is no impact in your action. So stop that. Go for the actions and make sure that you always use these insights and recommendations to act better as an organization. So if we think on different business cases, different possibilities, and starting already with the business question, it's really something important. So let's take this example of an organic farmer in Myanmar. As you see, it's not the biggest farmer ever, not so much industrialized neither, but what could be the questions that he's looking for? He can look at the production. Is it better than last year? It could be just at the end of the year, for example, on the volume and the revenue. It can be by month, but it can be really at the end. Or you really want to be a little more precise and you want to understand which field or vegetable had the best yield last year. So like this, you can maybe see what vegetable you will grow this year, because it's the one that is helping you to make the most revenue, because there is demand for it and you have the soil that is adapted for that. And also a lot of things that are linked to the quality of the product. So you can, in a sense, track your quality, improve your productivity, and so on. You can think that it's just an example like this, but in fact, even smaller organizations are really looking for this kind of thing. So we just finished a project in Cambodia with a small organic farm that is doing pepper. And that was kind of the things that they had. And do you have to build a very difficult model? Not so much. What we did is like a semi-automatic way to collect the data. We help them to move from the really manual entry, because they are writing down things on paper first, on who is harvesting what, because they needed to track it for their organic certification. But same time now we changed that and we just help them to collect the information with a form that is working offline, because there is no internet into the farm. So at the farm, there is no internet, but you can still collect data with a tablet or a phone. It's not a problem. And at the end of the day, you will synchronize this data with a cloud, for example, that is there. So a system that is helping you to keep track of it. And that is at the same time agglomerating that, segmenting it, preparing the data. And like this, every day you have a report on, oh, today we produced that much. We harvested that much has been dried, and so on and so on. So you can track really what is going on. Another use case. So selling tiny houses. What could I think about? You can think on what is my model that is performing the best, because probably you are not selling just one. Okay, so you want to understand what is working the best and for who. Very often you don't just do the one that is performing the best. That's the best for who. So like this, you can target better after that your next advertising, your next campaign, your next reach out. At the same time, where they are coming from. So like this, you can understand clearly where you have some traction and develop potentially even like an office there, and in your development, it's something that is important. But if you don't know exactly where it is, that's something that is maybe not so good, and you will not brand it like the same. If you know that you will send a lot of things in France, maybe you will think of, oh, okay, I should maybe translate a few things on my website, or I should even push a French version fully with even French tags into the house on few things. And after, you can work on smaller things. Oh, what is the main thing that I'm selling? What is the main add-on? Aircon, dry toilet on the side, solar powered rainwater collection, all those kind of things that could be options. And like this, you target better who you are looking for. And that's where you move on not only the what, but also the why. And so if you do that from the steps that we saw before, moving to the descriptive to the diagnostic also is important for you to advance. And the last one, a coffee shop. A lot of coffee shops are very blooming in Singapore, a lot of even social coffee shops. But what can you think about? Even because at the end, if you're a social coffee shop, at the end, you're still driven by sales and people that are there. So you can look at the marketing campaign and the conversion that is bringing. So if you do a new promotion online, is it bringing you new clients? And that's where you have to think about, like, how do you track the things? So if you take a step back and you think of any shop in the world, why are they building loyalty programs? To know better their consumers. And that's a key thing. If you go to a shop and you just pay with your card or in cash, whatever, you just have an invoice. You don't know who is coming there. So yeah, if you are an individual shop where it's only you and few persons, you have maybe people coming there every week and so on, so you know them. But how do you do that when you have 10 shops? How do you know who is coming when? You cannot do that if you are not able to track it. And that's the issue of tracking things on the physical world. And that's where the digital ecosystem is helping you to track a lot of things very easily. So yeah, trying to always track. And if people are coming with the same QR code, for example, that you shared to them, you will know who they are, and particularly here where they found you. And again, what are the top sellers? And most importantly, what are the top sellers and when? Maybe on Mondays you are selling a lot of coffees, but not so much tea. So you can do a promotion on that, or you can do a coffee with a croissant or whatsoever. So that's really important for you to understand who are your clients, when they are coming, and it's a case for any businesses. A purpose-driven business is a business. And if you don't have any clients, if you don't have any consumers, you're dead and you're just a charity, okay? So all social enterprises, all businesses for good, as you know, are, as any corporates, as any enterprises, driven at a point with the tool of the profit to have a bigger impact. But we need to think about that. And data can help you to measure your impact, can track your impact, help you to visualize all those things, a little as we did, for example, with UNDP. So you can empower data for impact measurement and management. Yes, the data can help you on your operations overall. Okay, but keep in mind something very easy, that is very easy to say, but at the same time that we always forget. Humans' decisions are very complex. So it's not because you have your data in hands and your insights that in fact you will always follow it. So when you take a decision, when you learn something about, for example, your consumers, will this knowledge go directly into an action that is fully data driven, so you just follow the action? Not often. So the owner of the shop at the end has the decision to choose. So you can choose whatever you want. And you very often don't just follow the cognitive side, the factual side. You always also drive things by emotion and your feelings. So it's important to find the right balance between when you take a decision as a human, between, okay, I have this feeling, and at the same time it's backed by some data, and just be sure that you are not using the data as a tool to validate an idea that you already have, because otherwise it's not working. But try to to review your feeling with the data and find a good mix and be as factual as, in a sense, as you can. So like this, you have things that you can really track, and you can adapt again your decisions quickly after based on the new insights that you have and so on. But human decisions are definitely not easy to have. So going back a little, just to give you a little more things on the data science vocabulary, or even like a few insights on why it's important. So data, you see, it's a lot of things. It's like you have a lot of pieces of Lego, in a sense, when you collect data. And if you don't do anything else than that, okay, you have a good amount of data. That's good. Now you can maybe sort it, so you will understand better the overall representation, but you are not very clear to make it clear for you to take a decision. But if you reach the stage where it's visually because if it's visually there for you into a decision, that's something that you can measure and track easily. And here you see that, in fact, I don't need like a lot of text, a lot of numbers and so on to understand that I have few colors that I have the most. Visualizations are very, very powerful, and that's why data visualization is something that is important to invest in, even if it's not a complex project. Being able to see the information that you have is very important. And like this, you can take already, just with this kind of graphs dashboard, a lot of good decisions. I'll talk quickly about that, but already data is just a piece of something. You don't even know what. So data, in fact, is like, today is 25 degrees. Okay. Your data is not today is 25 degrees. We already reached the information level. 25 is the data. That's your sensor that is giving you 25. 25 what? 25 degrees Celsius in Singapore right now. Okay, now I have an information. I contextualize this data, I have information. But that's where you see that just having numbers and collecting data, it's not enough. The context and all what we can call the metadata, so all the information that you have around, is very important. And now that you have this information and you build your information systems, you can work with this data and extract some knowledge. Once you have this knowledge, working with a lot of different elements or activities that you're analyzing, at a point you reach the wisdom, because you have, over the years, over the time, you did a lot of analysis and you extracted knowledge on different pieces that are helping you to bring this wisdom. And that's where you can really combine your personal experience, wisdom, with the facts and take better decisions. One of the, I will say, most complex one for most of the people: artificial intelligence, data science, and other keywords, big data analytics, and so on. There is a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of vocabulary, a lot of, I would say, marketing trends also, to use a new one. But one thing that is important to keep in mind is it's the goal. So we can do something easy to understand the difference between data science and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence and the subcategories of machine learning and deep learning. So deep learning is a very specific case of machine learning that is a specific case of artificial intelligence. What is the goal overall? The goal is to have a machine that is reproducing human decisions. So we are in the automation of a human decisions, and it's based on a learned experience on the data. So if every time that, for example, you have sun going into your to your windows, you want to automatically close. You want to close it, because otherwise you have too much warmth going in. That's an automatic decision. Okay, that's all the smart things that you have, smart systems. So how do you build smart systems? You learn that you want to achieve this decision, and you give all the data that you have, and you learn how to take this decision. So the next time that it's seeing a scenario, that will take a decision based on what it experienced before. But it's piece of software, automatic decision, artificial intelligence. On the data science side, that's what we have seen before. It's really asking the relevant business questions and transform it into actions. We can leverage a little on smarter, I would say smart systems or smart decisions there that are automatic. Why not, time to time? But the most important, it's data science, it's a process, it's a set of methodologies where you use computer science, statistics, and other fields like this, understanding the business case to really take the decisions and actions. So see that as a process overall to take better actions. I will say better informed actions, while in the artificial intelligence, you take purely data-driven and automatic data-driven actions. Okay. And on the data science space, you have a lot of things. One thing that I was saying before, it's very important for you to have people that can translate what your business is looking for. So if you have businesses that are not able to discuss with data people, make sure that you have someone in the middle, because you can build cross-functional teams. That's one option, or you can have some people that have both skills. So like this, you can already translate your business needs into the analytics problems, and that's where you can really move on because you will use the relevant technology and so on. But that's it. So when you are looking for a data expert to hire in your company, I will already recommend you to start with this side, the analytics translators. And of course, you can have someone that is in the middle that is a little of everything. But in a sense, that's the unicorn data scientist that most of the organizations were looking for the past years. But the most important for you as a business is not to invest in a PhD person that is a very good statistician, physician that is building extremely performing models. No. The most important for you to start as a business is really to start with your business question and transform it into the relevant questions that you will answer with data visualizations, modelizations, and the relevant data pipelines that you have. So that's really important to think about a few things. So what you aim to do as a business, what kind of data I can collect, how do I prepare it automatically, how do I modelize it in a sense, to take more predictive decisions, but also how do I visualize it to be more on the descriptive and the diagnostic steps. That's the kind of things. And when we reach a maturity, you need really to have the good data architects and engineers in-house, but you're already at a stage where you have a big need on a lot of data and a lot of data projects coming in, I would say. But really start more on this side for you always. And so you can build teams that are adding this kind of different skills, and do not forget to really bridge a gap between the businesses and the tech persons. Too many organizations have a centralized team that is not really linked to others, and data experts that are in fact not talking to the business, not even talking the same language. So when I was working with Solvay, the large chemical manufacturing company, a lot of time when we worked with plant optimization, predictive maintenance, cash management, HR, but also like the labs that we had on really the chemistry side. So when we have chemistry experts, PhDs, and so on that are really into their modelization to find a new molecule, that's good that they are talking a vocabulary that you have not. So it's always important to take the time to understand what they are saying and how you can really bridge a gap between. And in your flow, in a sense, already you can collect the information first. You have different sources that are there, and you don't have to use it yet, in a sense. But when you have a business question, that's the time to extract it and to really find it in your different apps and things that you are doing. Because in your day-to-day, you are using a lot of tools. Accounting tools, HR tool, and so on. So how can you extract this data and really use it, combine it? So transforming it, loading it into a space that you can always, in a sense, request to give you the different insights and so on. So building reports. So you have numbers that are coming in a kind of static way, dashboards that are more interactive. So you can play with the data and the visuals. Machine learning and artificial intelligence, that is all the modelizations and automatic decisions that you can have, but also all the analysis and the insights extractions that are leading you to the decisions and actions. So applications are kind of limitless. Today, data and data science are applicable and used almost in all industries. Different things for sure, but in banking, it has been years, banking and insurance, that they are collecting a lot of very valuable data. So you can really visualize better what is going on, predict some model. So when you go for a loan, for example, that's not an individual that is saying, yes, you go for this loan. The bank is asking you questions to make sure that you have, that they can score you. So like this, they rate you in an automatic way based on the machine learning algorithm. On communication and media, for example, you have also a lot of things now on how do you track your marketing campaigns, all the metrics that you have around, how do you even automatically target people, and so on. And you have a lot of, even if you think about sports, so you can go for example, for a movie that is called Moneyball, where how in the baseball space, if you recruit people not anymore based on your feeling, but only on the data itself, how do you build the best team? In fact, it worked. So always playing on that, and keep in mind that you have always the added value and the complexity of it. So that's important for you to really understand how you want to move on that. And how you can see that is like at the beginning you have kind of raw data, you try to sort it at the beginning and do some aggregation. At the end, the most important for you is to visualize it. So as a final user, most of the time, you don't need to care so much about that. You can work with a little more data experts, specialists that can help you on this side. And for you, the most important is to play with it. So again, asking and acting. And just a few things on, is it very complex to use machine learning and all those things? No, you're using it every day. When you unlock your phone, it's a machine learning algorithm that is recognizing you. When you translate something, you are using deep learning models. And in fact, most of the organizations can use also these kind of things more on the software engineering side to help you to do a lot of things. So if you want to extract knowledge from an image, for example, or some text, you can do that with standardized models that have been built by data scientists, machine learning researchers, and that have been given to you in the shape of an API that is just something that you call with an input. So for example, I give an image to this API and it's giving me the insight. So how many people on the image, the context, even maybe the location and these kind of things. So that's where you can really work in your virtuous circle of, you have some data, you build some machine learning algorithms, for example, or you understand better what is going on. And like this, you can really build a better product. I think a better product will bring you more users, so you will have more data and you will have more model and so on and so on. So that's really the virtuous loops that you can have. So just to finish on, again, what is the most important for you? On build a data culture. That's really, really important. As we saw, there is possibility to go for the technical space, but most importantly, it's the questions. And if we want to take decisions, you have to be able to have data culture where you're in trusted environment and you trust the data that you have and the people using it. So if everyone can read a report very easily and see what is going on, be curious and try to improve based on what they see, you win. That's what you have to do. So identify and recruit the champions that you may have in your organization. Very, very important. Something that we always forget because we think it's a technical problem. No, it's not. It's a human problem. It's a change problem. So do projects, share insights, ROI that you have, and share this experience to others. Communicate, communicate, and communicate. That's one of the most important things. Engage with the others with the upskilling, and do not forget to responsibilize people with the data that they are using and generating. If you have people generating dirty data all the time, you will have no insights from it, because if you have only garbage in, you will have no relevant insight at the end. So it's very important to have a clean data that you can trust, that is at the same time relevant, checking the veracity of the information, and so on. So be careful with that. Responsibilize also the team on that. And that's also where you can responsibilize on the data privacy at the same time. So all the PDPA and PDPR even that is coming, or the GDPR that is there. So you cannot do whatever you want with the data, even if it's a kind of commodity. And build really the cross-functional teams and break silos between the data and businesses. It's really something that is important and that will help you to speak data as an organization. So those are the 3 levels. So I think, for example, now you are data aware after this presentation. You know a little more what it is, what it could be. Now, if you want to be more data informed, that's where you take a little more your decisions based on the information that you have, based on the insights. And you can also reach a stage where you are data driven, where you really just follow what the data is saying to you as the end. So it will help you to unlock opportunities. So you can really take real-time decisions and better informed decisions, the efficiency in the operations, improving processes, cutting time, improving the business continuity at the same time, because you are sometimes even more automation or things that, you have more insights into it. And clearly improve your customer satisfaction and retention because you know them better. So you know how to target them, you know how to be close to them. That will be the most important. So really start now to embrace the data economy, and you will take better decisions. And like this, it's a good chance for you to thrive in the future, because we are living in a data space, in a digital economy backed by the data environment where data is absolutely everywhere. So really invest on these kind of things. We worked with different organizations, so that's where we gain all this knowledge. And you can see that it's smaller organizations, but also bigger ones. And from cybersecurity to farming, all the time, you can really work with different organizations and different needs. So do not hesitate if you need to reach out. And just one to come back and finish with it. Why are we a social enterprise? We work with businesses that have clearly, that are putting the purpose first. That's one of the key things. We don't want to work with certain companies. Okay, so we are in a way doing a positive discrimination in that side and trying to make it affordable and accessible. That's one. And that's our indirect impact. We help others to have better impact. Okay, but at the same time, in the way we do the projects, every project that we take in, it's an opportunity for people. So right now we are exploring the way to empower more people with disability in Singapore, for example, but until now we had a larger community also in Nigeria or in Cambodia, where these people didn't have the experience yet. And we're looking for these kind of opportunities to learn more and to apply their first skills. And what is really missing in the education today is the real life clients, not real life use cases. It's easy to find like an industry-like use case. But if you want to build something that is fully the reality, you need to do the reality. So that's where you really work with people on real life projects, presenting to a client and so on. So that's part of the goal for us. It's, yes, we do data science projects, but those projects are also opportunities for less privileged communities, empowering them and upskilling them when necessary. So that's it for me. Thanks for your time. I hope that clearly the goal was really to demystify some vocabulary, some key strategy that you may have to start. And after you have different use cases, I can also share more resources after that. If you're looking for, I will be on the WhatsApp group also, so do not hesitate to reach out and to ask for questions there. And thanks for your time, and it was a pleasure to be with you.
All right, thank you very much, Yoann. I think we've got some time. Perhaps maybe we can sort of open the floor for any questions.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so does anyone have a question that they would like to unmute themselves or post on the chat? We have someone on the chat already. I think Roberto has said something. The next evolution of data is the marketplace of anonymized data via ocean protocol. Well, that's a little bit complex for me.
Yeah, But basically, something that is very important here that is key now is really the data privacy. And what do you do with? So you cannot do whatever you want with data. So if you invite me to a meeting and you don't ask me if I really want to share some information, you're in a place that is illegal. But at the same time, you don't have to always have like private data and so on. So anonymized data, it's something that is very powerful when you want to, I will say, to understand something. So let's say that you gather all the data about your customers in your coffee shop, but you don't take their names or their phone number. You just want to understand the age or where they're coming from and few metrics like this that are keeping them anonymous. That's something that is important. So Ocean Protocol is one way, but it's just a tech solution that is helping you to do that. So I think, yes, more and more, and I would say that even more and more data specialists, data experts are pushing to work only with anonymized data, but it's more at the data management level of your company, because you will have private data at a point. But when you build a model or when you build a visualization, do you need it? Not at all. So don't share that with your data team if it's not relevant. That will be more the importance. But yeah, definitely. I would say data privacy and insights from data that is still anonymized, it's important.
Okay, thanks, Yoann. Does anyone have a question to sort of bring up and then ask Yoann while we are still, you can turn on your camera and your mic. Anyone?
Okay, maybe I ask a question.
Okay, good, thanks.
Yes, thanks. Yoann, thanks for the sharing. I think in our midst here, there are also many SMEs, right? So you mentioned about data culture. So for businesses that do not have a data culture, but of course, aspire to achieve like what you talk about, right? The intelligence, what data can give them that advantage. But without the data culture, without the starting point, what do you advise them to do?
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's okay for, if you feel like this, no worries, you're not the only one. As I said, most of the organizations are not ready yet. And I would recommend you to really go with that. So how do you get started? It's starting with small projects. You don't have to wait for everyone in your organization to be ready to be data literate and so on. No, start small, start with a small project. If you believe in it, for example, as a founder, it's also a key message on bringing your data culture and having more informed decisions after that. Because if you are pushing it, you are showing your interest on that and your trust into it. And so do a small project, share the insights, share the experience, share the value that it has. And after that, progressively, you can empower more and more people. You can maybe hire 1 or 2 key persons. If you feel that it's time for you to invest a little more, working with external partners at the same time, but just start small. Do not wait too much. The most important is to start, to be honest. And maybe it will take time to, not maybe, it will take time to build your data culture. It's not something that you build like in 2 days. But at the same time, if you start now with small projects, you're already engaging yourself in this journey. So start journey now with small things. 1 person internally or small project that you do with external persons, that will be the best.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think in the interest of time, because we did promise to sort of end at 3:30, it's sort of 3:35, but we have sort of a breakout sessions. Today's breakout session, we have we're trying to make it a little bit more organized so that we can sort of have learnings from each other. So Yoann, I believe you're also sort of a co-host today. You have a chance to sort of move between breakout rooms, and I would recommend that you actually get a chance to go. We've got about 47 participants today left right now, so we'll probably break out into 2 breakout rooms and allow all of us to sort of mingle, get to know each other quickly, and then there will be some facilitators also to sort of I'll get everyone to share a little bit about the challenges that you are facing with data, right, and then what you can do with it. But before we go into breakout sessions, we're going to take a photo. So we're going to try and do sort of a Zoom photo shot, right? So can I get sort of everyone to sort of turn on their cameras so that we can like take a quick screenshot. Shark, are you there?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so you're ready. So we'll take 2 shots, right?
Yes.
Can everyone sort of turn on your cameras? We take a nice screenshot. Okay, ready, Shark?
Yep. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Now once more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. So right now we're going to break up everybody into 2 breakout rooms. Today's sessions is unique because we are trying to do more moderation so that it allows everyone to sort of share their challenges about the areas of topic that we have, and then also give us a chance to get to know and learn from each other as well. Right. So Shark, take it away.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, please select the breakout rooms that you wish to go to.
Hello. Okay, nobody's there.